I previewed the last one I made and I saw that the sound wasn't very good on my um, first little homemade video clip, so I figured I'd touch on the things that I said. I don't talk that loud anyways, but maybe you'll be able to hear me better this time. Now I'm going to show something else. This is the gullet right here, and if you can tell this right here, I got it skived down to where this just perfectly flows into the bottom line of the bars right here. This is just one more thing that you won't see people take the time to do if they're sitting in a shop or a factory or whatever making a production saddle. They're just going to slap this on, get it done as quick as they can, and get as many made in a day as they can. And you pay a lot less for them, but then you get what you pay for. And the way that any responsible custom saddle builder is going to work, you're not going to be concerned with this leather right here or the stuff that is added on top of it. It's not going to sore up your horse at the withers. That's an important thing that you want to take into consideration if you care about your horses or about your gear. And like I said before, the most interesting part of building a saddle for me is in shaping this ground seat right here. And like I said before, but the sound quality wasn't that good because I was sitting too far away, and relying on my youngest daughter to help me with my video here. If you want a properly made ground seat, then you're going to have to pay someone to put that proper ground seat into your saddle. I do different things for money, like I start coats for people mostly, and I just am kind of reluctant to build a really nice saddle for myself to use for starting colts, and so I picked a saddle up in a pawn shop that isn't even worth the price of the leather that'll go into building this, never mind the hardware, the tree, and everything else. But it serves a purpose. And I had one of my fenders, the stirrup, the whole thing just fall off about a month ago, and I took it apart and I looked inside there, and when they built that saddle, they had a tin strainer for the ground seat, but it was real super thin tin, and it wasn't cut out in here. And of course I'm not putting it nowhere near the camera, so you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But anyways, the tin wasn't protected like it should have been, and it wasn't cut out, and so it was slowly cutting through the stirrup leathers, and finally it just cut through, and one day I just lost my right stirrup. I peeled it back and I got my first good look at it. There wasn't even an ounce of real skirting leather on that entire saddle. The swell cover up here was real thin leather, the seat was thin leather, and the ground seat, instead of having a tin strainer like this one has and two pieces of heavy leather, the ground seat on that one was a real thin strip, literally just a strip of tin and some cheap, I think you'd call it wool felt, that was glued on top of it. And that was it. It still serves a purpose, and I wasn't going to put a whole lot of money into something, and the tree was probably worth $100 if even that, and it looked like the tree was covered with cheap goat rawhide and just laced together real quick. And so you couldn't really justify putting a lot of work or a lot of money into it. I cut a couple of strips of latigo and riveted those to the fenders and put it back in, and I'm still using that for starting colts. But it's an uncomfortable saddle, and it's not anything I'd be wanting to be seen in public on, and my horses don't like it. But it serves a purpose, and if that's all you're going to use a saddle for, then something like that would be fine. But if you're concerned with quality or with how you look, or most especially with how your horse feels with the saddle underneath here, that it's not making a horse sore, that it fits a horse properly. And if you're all concerned with how your butt or your back feels, then you're going to want to invest in a proper saddle.